Zak Brown's latest comments have offered a rare glimpse into McLaren's mindset at the halfway point of the 2025 Formula One season. In a frank assessment, Brown admitted that one particular rival stands as the weakest among the front-running teams, a statement that has immediately sparked debate in the paddock. Known for his strategic clarity and calculated public remarks, Brown's choice of words was no accident. His message serves both as an internal motivator for McLaren and a signal to competitors that the team is focused on capitalizing wherever opportunities arise. With McLaren firmly in the fight for podiums and potentially more, identifying vulnerabilities in opponents is a key part of maintaining momentum. This admission comes as the team evaluates its strengths and weaknesses heading into the most demanding stretch of the calendar. In a sport where psychology can be as influential as performance, such a statement can unsettle rivals and energize a workforce. Brown's confidence suggests McLaren sees the remainder of the season not just as a challenge, but as a calculated opportunity. Zak Brown's weakest rival remark was delivered without naming the specific team, leaving analysts and fans to speculate. This deliberate ambiguity has amplified its impact, inviting media discussion and placing subtle pressure on all potential targets. For McLaren, the strategic advantage of such a statement lies in its dual purpose, publicly signaling confidence while internally sharpening competitive focus. Rivals now face the distraction of wondering whether they are perceived as the vulnerable link in the championship chain. In Formula One, even minor shifts in perception can influence how teams approach strategy, driver mindset, and technical risk-taking. Brown's comment also reinforces his leadership style, which blends corporate discipline with a keen understanding of motors. Port psychology. By framing the remainder of the season as an opportunity to exploit another team's weakness, he is aligning McLaren's competitive goals with a targeted narrative. Whether this will provoke a response or simply add quiet pressure remains to be seen, but the precision of his timing ensures it will be noticed across the paddock. At mid-season, McLaren finds itself in a strong but challenging position. The team has closed the gap to the leaders, with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri consistently delivering points and podium finishes. Car development has yielded tangible gains in qualifying pace and race day consistency, placing McLaren firmly in the mix against long-established frontrunners. Yet, the margins remain razor-thin, and maintaining upward momentum requires both strategic clarity and flawless execution. Zak Brown's remarks serve as a reminder that the team's progress is not accidental. It is the result of disciplined engineering, cohesive leadership, and an unrelenting work ethic. McLaren's advantage lies in its balanced driver pairing and a development path that continues to deliver measurable improvements. The weakest rival comment underlines the belief that at least one competitor may not sustain its early season form. By recognizing this possibility, McLaren can position itself to seize opportunities in the latter stages of the year, turning consistent podiums into potential race victories when the circumstances align. Formula One is as much a mental contest as it is a technical one. Public remarks like Zak Brown's are tools in the psychological warfare that plays out alongside the racing calendar. Teams monitor each other's performance closely, but they also pay attention to tone, body language, and the messages conveyed in interviews. By implying that one rival is the weakest, Brown subtly shifts the competitive dynamic. The targeted team, whether identified internally or not, must now contend with the pressure of defending its reputation. Meanwhile, McLaren benefits from reinforcing its own narrative of strength and upward momentum. This is particularly effective in a mid-season context, when fatigue, operational strain, and the grind of development can test even the most resilient organizations. Psychological edges often manifest in small ways: hesitation in strategy calls, conservative risk-taking, or driver frustration. McLaren's leadership appears determined to ensure those edges tilt in their favor, using carefully chosen words as another weapon in the battle for competitive advantage. With the European leg of the season nearing completion, McLaren's focus shifts toward circuits that could play to their strengths. Zak Brown's comments indicate confidence that the team is well placed to challenge, particularly if certain rivals falter. Strategic positioning is key, balancing aggressive pursuit of points with the discipline to avoid costly mistakes. The weakest rival narrative feeds into this by keeping the team alert to opportunities. If the identified opponent suffers reliability issues, inconsistent driver performances, or development stalls, McLaren must be ready to capitalize instantly. Such readiness extends beyond the racetrack to the factory, where upgrade packages are timed to maximize impact at critical rounds. The mid-season phase is often where championship battles are shaped, as teams decide whether to fully commit to the current car or shift resources toward the following year. McLaren's stance suggests they believe 2025 still holds significant potential, making every strategic decision in the coming weeks a crucial one for long-term success. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are central to McLaren's ability to leverage the opportunities Zak Brown has identified. Norris, with his experience and established leadership role, provides stability and consistent performance under pressure. Piastri, in just his second season, brings fresh energy and an ability to adapt quickly, a vital asset in unpredictable race conditions. Both drivers have shown they can extract the maximum from the car in qualifying and convert strong starting positions into solid race results. Brown's weakest rival comment indirectly serves to motivate them further, reinforcing the belief that McLaren can overtake at least one key competitor in the standings. The pairing's mutual respect and collaborative approach also minimize the risk of internal conflict, allowing the team to maintain focus on external battles. In a season where multiple teams are closely matched, driver execution will be as important as car performance, and McLaren's current lineup appears well equipped to deliver under this intensified competitive lens. Speculation about which team Brown was referring to has naturally centered on analyzing performance trends. Observers have noted that one of McLaren's primary rivals has shown inconsistent form, performing strongly on certain tracks but struggling to replicate that pace elsewhere. This could point to aerodynamic limitations, setup inflexibility, or difficulty adapting to varying weather conditions. Reliability concerns have also been whispered about, particularly in relation to power unit endurance over the season's most demanding circuits. From McLaren's perspective, identifying and understanding such weaknesses is essential for strategic planning. It allows the team to predict when and where they might hold an advantage, enabling targeted strategies in both qualifying and race execution. Whether the rival in question acknowledges these vulnerabilities publicly is irrelevant. What matters is that McLaren believes they exist and can be exploited. This mindset transforms Brown's public statement from a simple comment into a cornerstone of the team's competitive playbook for the remainder of 25. Zak Brown's remark has not only circulated within the paddock but also dominated headlines across motorsport media. The narrative of a weakest rival plays well in the press, generating discussion and framing McLaren as an assertive, confident contender. Such media coverage can subtly increase the pressure on the targeted team, amplifying any internal doubts or tensions. For McLaren, the benefit lies in shaping public perception, positioning themselves as the hunter, ready to capitalize on any slip from the leaders. However, this also raises expectations, placing additional responsibility on the team to deliver results that match the rhetoric. In the intricate ecosystem of Formula One, media narratives can influence sponsor confidence, fan engagement, and even regulatory scrutiny. Brown's calculated choice to feed this narrative demonstrates his understanding of the sport's broader theater, where image and momentum can be as critical as lap times. Maintaining alignment between public statements and on-track performance will now be vital to sustaining credibility. While confidence can drive performance, there is always a risk that it tips into complacency. McLaren's challenge will be to ensure that Brown's weakest rival comment fuels determination rather than breeding overconfidence. The temptation to assume an advantage could lead to underestimating opponents who are actively addressing their shortcomings. In Formula One, development rates can shift competitive balances quickly, meaning that a perceived weakness today may be resolved by the next race. The key for McLaren will be to treat this assessment as a call to action, continuing to refine car performance, perfect operational execution, and adapt strategies to evolving conditions. The team's leadership must guard against any loss of intensity, maintaining the same rigorous approach that has driven their recent progress. Confidence must be backed by relentless work, ensuring that opportunities are seized not through assumption, but through preparation and execution at the highest level. Only then can McLaren truly translate belief into results. As the season's second half looms, McLaren stands at a pivotal juncture. Zak Brown's weakest rival admission has set a tone of ambition, confidence, and calculated aggression. The team has momentum, a competitive car, and a driver pairing capable of delivering under pressure. The path ahead, however, will demand precision, both in strategic execution and in maintaining unity under the glare of heightened expectations. Exploiting perceived weaknesses in rivals is not just about opportunism. It requires consistently outperforming them on track and in the development race. McLaren's recent trajectory suggests they are prepared for this challenge, but the true test will come in moments of high stakes and split-second decision-making. If they succeed, Brown's mid-season message will be remembered as a turning point in their campaign, a declaration that signaled McLaren's readiness to reclaim its place among Formula One's elite contenders. The next races will reveal whether that confidence was the spark for a breakthrough or a bold gamble in a tightly fought season.